back towards his own goal there as well. Not the most convincing display of defending I've seen.
Just enough to steer it behind, but yeah, it wasn't. It was a ball that was well hit, but not really in the vicinity of Knights attackers. We'll see if Bellini can produce something a little more threatening, and it's through a sea of bodies and out the back it spills. Kemp drives it long, didn't quite have enough on it to find Laka Seljuk. Backhouse breaking it up and then trying to find Gutierrez Chavez. Away from him by the archer.
Backhouse goes short towards Naden. He thought about pulling the trigger there, and eventually he will nick Naden. Graham Wright seemed to have that one covered the whole way. Few excitable cheers in the crowd. From our angle, it did look like it was going to curl a bit closer towards goal. Graham Wright pretty confident of his bearings there. And now Ludford looks up and wants by an option. Graham Wright getting a few early touches as they try to create some space south. Ludford, low ball towards Berezanski. And Laka Seljuk trickily gets around one, then runs into Aramani. Still ends up with it. Tolkill. Bellini muscled off by Foley. And Laka Seljuk trying to stay on side with twos. Goes back towards Kemp. And Tolkill eventually gets a foot in. Lazinski not quite winning the header, and will go all the way back out to the keeper. Obviously Declan Foley as well, another nice subplot with someone, a member of Come Knights, playing for South Hobart, now playing against the Knights. Made a little triangle or Venn diagram to figure that one out. As Gutierrez Chavez tries to find Naden, eventually only finds the archer, who lets that one into the tennis court.
Lazinski launching this one. A long throw.
Và như vậy là trước khi đến với những diễn biến gay cấn của hiệp thi đấu thứ hai, chúng ta hãy cùng dành một ít phút quảng cáo cho nhà tài trợ fp88vn.com. Và nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay không biết sẽ đặt cược cho đội bóng của chúng ta ở đâu, thì hãy truy cập fp88vn.com. Đây là một trong những nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu và đang đứng top tại diễn đàn đặt cược châu Á Asian Bookie. Các bạn có thể yên tâm đặt cược tại đây. Hãy truy cập ngay fp88vn.com và đừng bỏ lỡ cơ hội.
South just taking a little while to warm to the task here today. 10 minutes in, Knights shading the early going as Jack Bowman doesn't see a lot on offer he like there. Still got, of course, with ball speed, slow would be the response to that just for the moment. If it was a question, might have been a suggestion just to raise it a little.
A pointed suggestion, I think, if it's coming from the mouth of Dogger Brown on the sideline.
We'll see, relishing the senior role today. Ken Morton finished through the stands after a red card midweek against Kingborough in the second half, and obviously Nick breaking the leg just beforehand. And this one spills the way of twos, and he'll find a corner here for South, a chance to get to work here from the set piece.
And they're certainly, I don't know if it certainly doesn't seem like it's intentional they're going for the more methodical build-up, but they have managed to win a corner out of it, so not all for naught. It was Gorry very good over the set piece, looks for the run of Ludford, and eventually goes over the back towards Farrell. Might fall for Berezanski, he wants Kemp. Mavinen tries to spray one out to Gorry. Marnie gets a head in. Kemp will concede the throw in. Not coming to much so far for South. Gutierrez Chavez. Raking ball looking for Marnie. Cleared by Havinen. Pushing header from Lazinski. Fearsome beard of Tolkill. Back to Young. Really good to see Thomas Young back in the starting lineup and playing a few games in a row. And a terrible run with injury at the start of this season. Nesta getting some meaningful touches on the ball. I was doing a bit of research last night. Apparently not the first time he's tried to retire. There's a few rumours floating around about 2010, 2011 he might give it away, but when he was playing for Olympia, eventually came back and has played a few more years.
A few more? That's 8 more.
It is a few 8 more. That was my exact thought last night. It was still on side. It's a great run there from twos. Vining's free at the back post. It might fall to Berezensky. And the youngster, he came off the bench on Wednesday night to a bomb, puts his side ahead here today.
Yeah, 2 in the week for Semi Berezensky, and a bit of a gift that one. Just sat there beautifully, and poor Jimmy Nestor in his final game has been utterly stitched up here by this touch. Tyler Harrison has just about laid on the perfect assist with the back heel. Just brought it to a beautiful stop, set it up, said, all right, Semi, pick your spot. He duly did. And South, really, from their first chance of the game, opened the scoring here. And just one that Harrison, I think, would like to have back.
Yeah, if it wasn't for... They were all wearing the exact same colours. You'd think that was Ben Hamlet flicking that back to Berezensky at the start there. That's how good a touch it was from Harrison, but he certainly did not mean it. And, I mean, Berezensky is put on a platter. You'd be shocked if he missed from there. Did well, the youngster. Started a few games in that sort of start of the season. They were really down on injuries, and then they've drawn more to a bench role and is relishing the chance in the last couple of days. He's Foley and Toghill having a nice challenge. Dogger Brown. He's a master of the dark arts, and that is exactly why. Trying to get a free kick from that. Wasn't quite Cosmina and Muscat down there on the sideline all those years ago. It was Bellini trying to work his tricks towards Young. Young with a good ball in, and it's nearly fallen to Naden. Lazinski goes crashing in. He pulled out at the last minute there on Bowman, but a free kick given. I'd love to see that bit of work there from Dogger Brown again.
Oh, the shenanigans outstanding from the master of the dark arts. Just blatant Knights throw. He's got straight off his teammate, just appeals for the free. Tony's already pointing before he's appealed for it, and then just keeps it away from Tokyo.
And then does the casual, I've been hit 3 steps back as Togsy tried to get the ball there.
They hardly enemies, those two. No. Just some good banter between Brown and Toggill. This one's over the top for Lazinski. Just did really well to control it there, Big Albie, but his pass lacks the right weight. It was a dangerous moment starting to develop for the Knights. Good initial work from the front man. Needs to hit a little more on the pass as Kobe Kemp tries to thread the eye of the needle again. And slicing through balls he loves to play, the magic man Bellini. Finds Nick Naden on the left. He's crossed straight into the Warhorse Ludford. Brown calling for some movement to spread the field a little bit. Knights perfectly content just to sit off and not press here, and South realising that are just going to take their sweet time at the back.
Was he? I didn't quite hear Brown give that instruction.
He's certainly got a good command of the technical area, Brown. As Wright strikes it to the archer.
I mean, they're in front, South, so I mean they can just sort of do this for the rest of the game if they really want to.
They pull the trigger eventually, looking for Kemp, away from him by Backhouse. So, yeah, very, very patient at the back, and in no mood to rush things. And Knights, it seems, are perfectly happy to sit off them in these early stages. Tactics, the two coaches. We'll see how that plays out as Gorry looking for Berezensky, casting the target man role. Not really his game there, young Sammy, is Lazinski, who is the very definition of a target man, does well to work this one across to the magic man Bellini. And Bellini slides it through for Marnie. He's got 3 in the middle here, and he goes past Tavinen. Lloyd Farrell in support. Marnie was doing well, but he couldn't get his cross pass. Hugh Ludford, tidy from Berezensky. Very tidy from Berezensky. Opens the play up to Adam Gorry. Gorry for 2s. Was just behind him a little. Kemp coming through. And Toghill just clearing the area. Gorry. And trying to get him behind a Backhouse. Players just struggling to keep their footing on a slippery surface. A bit of rain starting to come down now. And look at the complete lack of interest Knights have chasing that ball. They've clearly been told they're not pressing in the opposition half. They just turned and looked at it.
Did notice James Sherman was here last week for the game between South and Riverside. Maybe spotted something there that Riverside did quite well and just sort of sat off and absorbed some pressure. And if South have just got it in their own half, not really to bother. Alex from Riverside last week had a similar strategy. Riverside managed to hold out a little longer than the Knights have, so they might have to change something up a bit sooner. And Graham Wright on the Archer, Jack Bowman exchange passes. Really congested once it gets to that part of the field, and then they end up just going the long ball, goes towards Kemp. There's Gorry on his outside. Kavainen at the back post is lurking. Gorry does look in towards Harrison, and then Young makes it clear. Ludford, Tolkiel eventually falls to Havainen. Coming inside on his right. There's the low pass, cleared by Backhouse. Now Bellini. Foley, extravagant appeal for the free kick there. Almost like the end of a floor routine pose there from Foley. Ball to Berezanski, nearly. Young. Tolkiel. And eventually they'll call the free kick for the Knights against Declan Foley.
Good organisation at the back there from the Knights. Look pretty solid dealing with that. Young and Gutierrez, Chavez dropping back in to support the centre-backs, and pretty tough to get through all those bodies for South. So now look to come back the other way through Backhouse. Couldn't find Lazinski. Bowman to Kemp. And Farrell onto the head of Tyler Harrison. A very real ping pong here, and eventually spills to Foley in the bullseye. Havainen. Now it's Ludford. Harrison read it well, but then played it back into a pretty dangerous area, and Jade Clay just says anywhere but here and thumps it out of there.
Nearly another accidental assist there for Tyler Harrison. And he's Vine and is it towards Ludford. Vine ends up with Lakaseljic, so advantage will be played. Now Kemp in shooting range, Kobe Kemp, but it just dribbled a little too far out of that cultured right foot of his. Now to Gorry. Slips over. Will end up being a pass towards Kemp. 50-50 contest being waved away from the referee. Gorry. Farrell, now twos. Heavy touch. Gives Bellini a sniff. Just running out of real estate. There was twos. Good pressure. Now he's got chance to unders Bellini up against Bowman. Always had the step and plays it comfortably back to the keeper. Yeah, it's getting back to that years ago. He did nearly have a year off in between there from Olympia joining the Knights. And it was a key part of their championship winning side. And they're still playing them on their return to the National Premier League, which is good to see, and a well-deserved retirement, and gets a final game, which is really good to see for one of the standout keepers in the state the last 10 to 15 years. Has been Jimmy Nestor.
Yeah, he's had some fine games and some fine saves in those years. A storied career for Jimmy Nestor. We had young Lockie Hart go past him on the depth chart this year, but he's been a wonderful player. And this year even there's been 3 or 4 occasions he's played starring roles. As this one, Vinen had have been just on his toes there. Might have found one to pounce upon. Probably a bit too much on it anyway, as it slid through to Nestor.
Which game was it at KG5 that Lee called where he was just absolutely on fire? I think it was earlier this year. The City might have been against Olympia as well. I think some of the ones we're thinking of. Yeah, really kept his side in it some occasions at the start of this year. There's Havainen. Foley with plenty of time and space. Gorry. And a wall of white in front of him, starting with Nick Naden. There's Berezanski. Skipping away from challenges. There's Foley. Farrell sizing up the diagonal and will go to Toby Havainen. Looks up and crosses the ball near post. Tog Hill in plenty of air but not a lot of distance. Foley. Chip ball over the head of Laka Seljack. Out harmlessly for a goal kick. South at least starting to lift the tempo a bit, especially compared to that first 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, halfway through the first half here. It's South Hobart 1-0. Knights have hit the post. And a little bit more of the play, but South just pouncing on the one real chance they've had in this match. Berezanski was hardly going to decline the gift that just sat for him in the box. A fair contest in prospect here at the moment. The Knights showing they're well and truly up for it today. And tough to break down. And you have to think capable of goals as the afternoon develops, and certainly the threat of rain developing too. It's getting darker and darker here at Darcy Street. Could be a real factor in the second half. It's Hugh Ludford. Again, this has been the real pattern of the match. Eventually they'll drive down the right through Bowman and play it direct up towards Kemp. Rolling back to Farrell. Kemp classily onto the left, then swings it in looking for Laka Seljack, and desperate defence from Tyler Harrison, diving in with the header behind for a corner. Well done by the Knights skipper.
Laka Seljack in front end two's making a good diagonal run. Right behind him as well. Crucial header there from Harrison.
Và để tạo gác lại những giây phút căng thẳng ở trong trận thi đấu này, chúng tôi xin được trân trọng giới thiệu đến các bạn FP88vn.com là trang nhà cái đến từ châu Âu, có kèo ăn cao nhất hiện nay và đang được đông đảo anh em hâm mộ bóng đá tại Việt Nam lựa chọn để tham gia. FP88vn.com đảm bảo uy tín cho anh em nào và rút tiền trực tiếp qua thẻ ngân hàng chỉ trong vòng 5 đến 10 phút mà thôi. Hãy nhanh tay tham dự tại FP88vn.com.
He showed pretty good technique, but no win to the target in the end. For young Laka Seljack, they would have brought the house down if he had fired that one in. Not to be. The number 9, leading the line here this afternoon. Foley up against Young. Spilt onto the knees of Marnie in the end. Laka Seljack. Good touch. And lays it back to Toby Havainen. One look to take 2 on. Just be a goal kick. A lot of talk from both coaches on the touchline earlier about second balls, especially Dan Brown stressing the importance of it. There's been a fair bit of direct play at times leading to those second balls. As Farrell.
Chúc các bạn xem bóng đá vui vẻ.
Making up the ground.
Các bạn nhớ like, subscribe kênh của mình nhé. Thank you.
Control of this match for a decent start from the Knights. The goal seems to have settled this South outfit. Laka Seljack touching from the experienced Jade Clay. Gutierrez Chavez. Well, he had the right idea, just didn't have enough on it for Nick Naden. Dink ball over the top was absolutely on there.
Certainly was. And just the Knights in attack, and then as soon as they give the ball away, you can just see everyone going to their designated positions. You just saw Marty completely ignore where the ball was going, just run to the right wing, like Lazinski covering Naden as well. Good understanding of the game plan here from the Knights this afternoon. And there's Gorry go back to Farrell. Maybe just starting to press a little more higher up the park of the Knights. I've not seen Graham Wright have this many touches, I don't think, for a whole game this season he's had in the first 27 minutes. And Ludford. Good ball towards Kemp. Now Havainen. Marnie tracking back, and the backspin on that might make it a corner. Will indeed. The first one from the grandstand side for South. Maybe Kemp will take it from this end of the ground, side of the ground. I think the rain's just getting a little heavier. The fans behind the goal starting to seek a little more shelter. There's Kemp. Takes the corner. Near post. Ludford. I think he was going with the flick on there, but goes over the crossbar for a goal kick. Messed up. And Gutierrez Chavez offering short. We'll elect to make it a bit longer. Centrally, Young and Foley battling. Foley a little more eager to get on that one, and you can see why. Berezanski coming out. Nesta just getting there in time. Plenty of pace still in the legs of Timmy Nesta there.
A few years between those two as well. The youngest players against some of the older players there. Nesta v Berezanski. The bookends of their careers. Foley. Another loose pass. Surely that's a throw in. Actually, the whistle goes. Albie Lazinski. Then just worked underneath. It was Bellini. Scotsman at Graham Wright. Naden. Farrell wins it back. Oh, under hit back pass, inviting a little danger with Lazinski lurking. Got away by Graham Wright, and then an awkward one for Clay to deal with. Berezanski wisely just puts it out in front of Gorry. The early cross comes in. Tom Young again tracking back, doing the defensive work in midfield. Steering that one away, Tom Young. He's been very good when he's been able to get on the park for the Knights. So he had some injury issues earlier in the season, but pretty solid in the back end of the year as Gorry looks for Berezanski. Tried to swing that one near post. Couldn't quite connect with the teammate, and after 30 minutes gone, still South Hobart holding sway at 1-0.
Kick-off over the other side of the river. Usually the sunny side is the eastern shore, but judging by our lookout, I think it's pretty much the same everywhere in Hobart, between Clarence and Devonport. We'll keep you updated with that one. Miles Barnard obviously hunting for the Golden Boot Challenge. He's said during the week it's not his primary aim, but deep down I really think he'd love to win that trophy this year.
I think that will be Devonport just trying to set the Fox up all day. They can preach the team mentality, and I'm sure for a little while that will be the case. But if they have a 2 or 3 goal lead, it'll turn into just trying to tee up the Fox in the box, I'd have thought. And he scored 8 last time he came down here.
And Bidwell and Fitzgerald are both starting, so the same sources for those 8 goals are out there at Wentworth Park.
Of course, Matty Sanders hitting a brace yesterday, puts him 2 clear. So big afternoon in the Golden Boot race today. Miles Barnard just filled that Braden man void very nicely in the Strikers' attacking line. A good battle developing between those two, and one that I think too many saw coming. Sanders had such a big lead earlier in the year. It seemed unlikely anyone was going to catch him, but Barnard got close. Lazinski with a chance here, and he's headed it straight into Havine, and then taking a tumble. There's Marnie in the box, somehow stays out, but Toby Havine, not just a save to goal there, blocking Lazinski's header. Jade Clay over the top, that'll hold up nicely for Bellini. Gets there, and then gets brought down by the keeper. And it's a penalty here for the Glenorchy Knights. The magic man Bellini getting the better of Graham Wright, and it'll give them the chance to square it up from the spot.
Yeah, good amount of spin on that through ball. We'll just rewind that a tad more to get you the replay. Wright did really well to prevent Marnie from scoring from a yard out, but then a little bit rash off his line. Well, skidded a bit more than he thought. And conceded the penalty. Let's have another look. Gorry coming from one side. He just lets it roll across his body. I think it's more the pushing motion there of Wright that's probably undone him there. Not a huge amount of contact, but when your arms are sort of like that, or pushing out.
He's not arguing.
No, he hasn't.
That's usually a giveaway. He's just turned around and gone, yeah. So it's Albie Lazinski, who scored many a time from the Darcy Street penalty spot. And now he steps up against his former side to try and square this one up. And he duly does just that. Strokes home confidently. Albie Lazinski on the score sheet. 1-1 at Darcy Street.
Cool finish from Albie Lazinski. He's worked tirelessly so far in the first half hour of this game. And confident penalty run up there from the big man. Knights fans in attendance enjoying that one. But yeah, as you say, no real complaints from the keeper for the penalty shout. Lazinski never looked like missing, to be honest. Gorry get South Hobart back underway, and we'll see if they stick with this more patient build-up or whether they'll try and be a little more urgent in their ball speed. Dogger Brown just letting the players play for the moment. Right. He wins the ball, and when Tony Pert holds the whistle for that long, it usually means a slice of cheese is coming. And there is one for Declan Foley, much to the enjoyment of the Knights faithful. Getting a slice of cheddar against his former side.
Decent contingent of Knights faithful here too, making good noise here as he just got there first, basically. Foley, not so much you could do, but once the player gets there first, you're always going to find yourself in trouble. It was very cleverly done by Gutierrez Chavez. And Knights buoyed by that goal, looking to dial up the pressure here. It'll be the man who won the free kick to take it. Gutierrez Chavez, his best work over the dead ball though, easily away by Kemp. Poor ball, couldn't find Gorry. Now it's Bellini looking for Lazinski, so to Naden. Oh, the first time volley flashing just past the post. Delightful ball from Bellini. And not too far away from taking the lead here, the Knights.
Where's the marking?
Ghosted in.
Naden had 5 yards either side of him there. It was a very intelligent run into the box. And some creaky moments at the back here for South Hobart as this half wears on. Gorry back to Farrell. The Knights here had their tails up at Darcy Street. Farrell to Foley. Bowman, good challenge there from Lazinski, robs him of the ball, and he tried to get the return, but Lazinski was barely back to his feet. Foley want to get on the ball a little bit more. Ludford. Even when just passing it around the back, it's a little loose from South at the moment. Foley. Vine's been screaming for the ball for about a minute in front of us on the grandstand side. Still yet to receive it. And it's just pace from side to side. Not quick enough from South at the moment as Harrison rises high. Kemp, Gorry in a pocket of space on the far side. Good challenge there from Gutierrez Chavez and Jay Clay. Gorry to Foley. Again, South. Back to the centre backs. Ludford. Oh, you're going to have to go back to the keeper here, and does. The Knights game plan working a treat here so far.
You're really impressed with their discipline and structures. And South, they just need to up the speed of their ball movements at the moment. It's just a bit too slow and laborious, and Knights are just shuffling across and blocking off whichever side of the pitch they're trying to attack down. And they've really blocked off the middle of the field quite nicely with Young and Gutierrez Chavez in particular just patrolling that area. And shutting it down. Now can they get something going down the right here, South Hobart? Adam Gorry, usually such a creative outlet for his side. Laka Seljuk, good play there. Gorry's cross. Had a few to pick out, but he couldn't find any. And Dimmy Nesta clutches that one to his chest.
It's a bit better from South. Just when they play it quicker, they do look threatening every time they go forward, particularly when they can get it towards Kemp, spray it out to Gorry. It's a good tactic, one they haven't used a whole lot so far in this first half. Clay got that one with the shin pad at first. Now twos. It's Clay, back house. Find it towards Naden. Roll challenging well. Gorry. Ground. Twos. To Gorry. Naden and Bellini shutting down the angles on this occasion. Bloodford. Again, it's now Kobe Kemp. Dropping really deep to collect the ball. Twos. Helps it on towards Gorry. Space to run into. We'll go back to Foley. He was looking for someone to play the 1-2 there, I think, Gorry, and try and get him behind, but they'll win a free kick. Will South. Assuming that's a late challenge on Laka Seljuk. South not able to make the most of any set pieces at the moment either. 4-6 up for South as Gorry whips it in towards Ludford. But just over his head, cleared by the Knights. Bellini's got a 1v1 with Bowman, and Bowman gets there just in time. Only whacks it out for a throw. Booger Brown riding every single challenge down there in the technical area. And there's Bellini. Lovely cushion touch and a lovely flick over the top of Bowman. There from the Magic Man. Naden can't quite keep a hold of it. He's one of those kind of players who, when he's on form, worth the price of admission alone, is Alessandro Bellini.
Yeah, one of my favourites to watch. He just pulls out some very silky stuff from time to time, and there is the curse of the commentator in full effect. He could not have had a less tidy moment of play. Just go watch that assist from 2 weeks ago against 30 seconds prior. We saw the type of stuff he's regularly providing for the Knights. Pity he's been so injured this year, really, as has much of the Knights squad. Tom Young doing well to win that one to Lazinski. Just chips it down the line, always favouring Havonen, though. And perhaps for the first time all day, the Knights just pressuring the keeper a little as they tried to pull play out and forces the errant clearance from the Scotsman. Lazinski again the target for all these throw-ins. He couldn't flick that one on from Marnie, however. Berezanski can't get past Toghill. And just a bit too sharp there from Foley for Havonen.
James Sherman down on the sideline for Knights, really happy with the work of his team. It's just imploring them to keep it going till half-time. They've only got 5 minutes, plus probably the customary one to go. It's a stoppage.
Như vậy là chỉ còn hơn 10 phút nữa thôi thì trận thi đấu của chúng ta sẽ kết thúc. Và trước khi tạm biệt anh em, chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu với anh em một website rất uy tín, đó chính là fp88vn.com. Hiện tại đang có chương trình khuyến mãi lên đến 2 triệu đồng dành cho thành viên mới, hoàn toàn hợp pháp và an toàn. Hãy đăng ký tài khoản ngay tại fp88vn.com để nhận được ưu đãi nhé.
Knights fans not particularly enjoying that decision.
Looked like two hands pushing out to me.
Oh, if Graham Wright's incidents are foul, then that's probably a foul. Ludford towards Farrell. Foley takes an ambitious shot. High and wide there from Declan Foley.
That's showing the frustration South are feeling at the moment. Just not really flowing and breaking down this Knights defence, and just trying to snapshot from range. credit to Sherman for the way he set this Knights team up. They've certainly stifled South throughout much of this first half. Chavez, Lazinski, now Bellini. Clever little ball for Lazinski, bombing on with Toghill. Toghill's cross, a little deflection. Marnie got in there first, and his cross well blocked Ludford. And Lazinski and Nader in there, but the Warhorse got in the way. Adam Gorry. Nothing developing on the counter-attack, so you'll just drop it in there for Farrell. Poor ball. Straight to good areas Chavez, and then in turn gifted straight back. No one wants possession apparently.
Clearly not. Really was a crucial touch there from Ludford, and Graham Wright really amplifying your point there, Andrew, that no one wants possession. I was just going to say, Ludford really had to make that intercept, as I'd rank Aaron Marnie's primary skill is a low fizzing ball across the box from the byline, and there was two players lurking at the back. Bleedy first time. Well, the eyes lit up from the Magic Man. He didn't quite get the contact he desired.
If anyone could.
Oh, yeah.
Into the game pretty well. Been targeting his head from just about every set piece and every throw in. An amount of work, the big fella. And most of their best chances have had some involvement of the big target man. Inside the final minute plus change of the first half now. Can't imagine there'll be much stoppage time. And goal's probably the longest stops we've had as Adam Gorry drifts inside and then sends it across to Toby Havainen. Havainen with a raking ball over the top, which always favours Dimmy Nesta. Backhouse. Bowman intercepting. Found Kemp. Farrell back to Bowman. Foley. Now Havainen. This is better from South. Toby Havainen. Top of the box to Kemp. Put a little touch on it. Not enough. Farrell. Couldn't find twos. And away from him by Backhouse.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Tony adds any time on it all. Plays it back to Gorry. Berezinski and Kemp both taking up pretty much the exact same position in the penalty box. Foley prevents the counter-attack. Gorry looks up, spies three in the box. Harrison manages to clear. Farrell out to Havainen. Tries to go down the byline and beat Marnie for pace. Easier said than done. Post over the head of Samuel Twos, and I reckon that'll see us till half-time.
Yeah, I think so, and a pretty good first half for the visitors, the Knights, and fairly evenly fought game, but I think Knights would be the happier of the two sides heading into the sheds. South quite had their normal rhythm this afternoon. Knights doing a pretty good job structuring up and frustrating them, and despite ceding the lead, they've been able to get back on terms thanks to a Lazinski spot kick, and sets it up for a pretty interesting second 45 minutes here. Both teams will feel every chance of going on to take the win as Tony Pert brings the first 45 to an end, much to the disappointment of the Knights fans who are thinking they're going to get the free kick there. That's a big bear hug from Foley on Lazinski. Good to see, but after the first 45, it's still all very much to play for here between
Như vậy là
South
trận đấu của chúng ta
and
đã bắt đầu rồi. Nếu như các bạn vẫn còn đang loay hoay chưa biết mình sẽ đặt cược cho hai đội bóng tại đâu, thì chúng tôi xin trân trọng giới thiệu với các bạn fp88vn.com. Đây là một trong những nhà cái uy tín hàng đầu và đứng top tại diễn đàn đặt cược châu Á Asian Bookie. Các bạn có thể yên tâm đặt cược tại đây. Hãy truy cập ngay và đừng bỏ lỡ cơ hội.
Strength and guile to getting behind the defence, and they just don't have that outlet here today with Laka Selcek up top. Berezinski did well for their goal, and in terms of Knights, I absolutely don't think they should change a thing. I think they need to keep doing exactly what they're doing. Lazinski bringing them back to 1-1. I'd be going in. If I was James Sherman saying keep that up, I reckon.